Well, hello everyone. It is Dave and Bo. We're out in the garden this morning. It is Saturday, September the 27th, 2024, and it's been a beautiful day so far. It rained a little bit last night. The temperatures are in the 70s. It is still really humid. That is the only downfall. But we're going to walk around the garden today, and we are definitely feeling a little bit more fall in terms of the weather. So let's take a look at some new acquisitions. And you might ask, Dave, have you planted any of the past acquisitions? And the answer is no. So I did do another order from Mr. Maple, and I got a couple varieties. This one here is Acer japonicum. I can't even pronounce that third name, but this is Maikujaku, and it is called the Dancing Peacock. And it's going to have purple leaves, red leaves, yellow leaves. It's supposed to be absolutely amazing. I've seen some really large plants of it in the landscape, and the trees are amazing. Bo even thinks so too. The second tree I got was finally Acer shirasawanum aureum. And this is just one of the plants that I have wanted for so long. Take a look at that leaf and how different it is compared to the japonicum leaves that are highly serrated. So that's really exciting. Look at also the New Guinea impatiens that are in bloom here, still in the container. And then of course a few of my other purchases from Mr. Maple as well that'll be going out into the yard as I get ready to plant them, as I'm working through the beds. Let's go, Bo. Let's take out to the yard here. I love the Chamacyparis. We've got some blooms on the geranium here. I'm going to be pruning back the Shasta daisies here. This is Japanese Maple Orange Dream. Definitely all the Amaryllis belladonna are done. A few of them are setting some seed. The weather's been very nice this week. Some white impatiens there in with the ferns. So it's that time where I can finally start getting out into the yard, and the plants themselves are going to slow down in terms of growth. So I can not only, kind of keep up with them, but also get ahead of them. I pruned these Shastas just a couple of weeks ago, and so you can already see again how full that they are. They regrow very, very quickly. So don't feel bad about taking plants like all the way down to the ground, because the new growth comes up really, really quick. Back here, got the Plumeria. Although it didn't bloom, it did grow nicely this year. We've got a lot of Liriope Silver Dragon. I mean, I've just really noticed this the past couple of days. I'm not sure if it's just because of the color or new growth or what, but it's really starting to look really sharp back here underneath this beautiful Japanese maple here. Of course, this is Bloodgood. Planted that a couple years ago, and I just love the way that the bark looks. Over here, remember we planted some new daylilies, even have a spike on that daylily. This is penguin pine. And again, that beautiful antique rose there, which I got to look at Antique Rose Emporium now that I think about it, see if there's anything I have to have for the winter months. We'll cruise back over here to the rose garden. Say hello to Bo one more time as she's kicking back in the shade. Another Japanese maple here, Sangugaku, and I'm looking forward to that turning yellow. Look at that new growth though. How beautiful that is. Got the ajuga starting to color up real nicely. It looks great against the variegated cedar. The hemlock in the back. The chocolate cosmos. Fern leaf chamacyparis. The dahlia, we'll see how far the dahlia gets this year. And again, that came up really, really late. I think last week I showed you I pruned back the Westringia. This was transplanted not this year, but a year ago. Transplanted totally fine. I had pruned also the bearded iris, and I also went through and took down all the creeping fig that was growing in the fence line, because there are some issues with some mice and rats and things here back in the corner. So I want to kind of clear this area out to eliminate that. You can definitely see the dogwood, what remains of it. I took down the shade cloth as well. That's pretty much hopefully just dormant rather than completely dead. It's, you know, the stems were still viable and everything like that, but it sure took a beating this year. The nice thing is I'm not moving it this year, so hopefully it'll develop a much better root system over the winter time as well to help make it last in this area. Most likely I'll have to cover it up again, but that's fine. So the goal is that it'll be shaded by both the apple tree over here to the right and then the crab apple there in the corner. A few roses are beginning to rebloom, such as Touch of Class, Tournament excuse me, Tournament of Roses. I went ahead and cut back, or not really cut back, but I raised the skirt, if you will, of the almond bush. And so I want to make that definitely more of a tree form. A little bit of these stand just about 6 feet tall. And then I'll probably just top the plant this year so that everything's at the same height when it begins to leaf out next year. I did leave most of the plant compared to last year. I really cut it back, and it really, you know, it took a whole year almost to recover. So let's see. The Leonotis is doing well. I'm going to be moving that this winter. The triple grafted plum tree, I'll probably put a white rose, I think, right here at the base of that. Over here, look at that beautiful, picture perfect Oklahoma rose. Oh my gosh, that is just a picture in itself. Bow, always a picture. Cherry tree. Apricot tree. I don't think there's much else to show you. Acer red dragon. I think I showed you the Ingrid Bergman last week, but oh, this was it. Just Joey. One of the nicer apricot roses. There's also Brandy. Brandy's a much larger blossom, but Just Joey is just a really great disease-resistant rose. This is our flowering apricot. Just did fantastic this year. I can't wait for it to lose its leaves and bloom in the early spring next year. Probably will add another different variety to the yard next winter. I did, let's see which is the best way to show you this as well. I did go ahead and prune back the Cecile Bruner right to the arbor as well. It was really starting to get a little leggy. I need to do the same with the lollipop, or gumdrop rather, bay tree. And I think that may be it. Maybe just a quick walk around the yard today as the season begins to change. It'll be October the next time we chat. You can definitely see also, look at the change of the foliage here. We're starting to get a lot of yellow, starting to get that tip burn. These are going to be falling off really, really shortly. But that's not a bad thing ever, because especially here where this is planted, look how dense this is, and you're going to be able to see the whole yard when the leaves fall off. So it's coming to the point where it's my favorite during the winter time, once it's lost its leaves, and when it first, of course, starts to bloom in January, February. All right, I think that's everything for this week. Happy gardening. Bo and I will see you next week.